Many people believe that hard work always brings quick reward. But sometimes the truest reward is not the prize itself. It is the person you become while waiting for it. There was once a small workshop at the edge of a village, and inside it, wood shavings covered the floor every single night. People passed by the sound of the hammer without giving it much thought. They never asked why a man kept building things no one had ordered. And one day, everything changed. Stay with me until the end, because the answer is not what most people expect. There was once a young craftsman named Elias. He lived above his small workshop at the edge of the village. Every morning, he opened his tools before the sun was fully up. His hands were steady, but his heart carried a quiet frustration. He was skilled, yet no one seemed to notice. Other carpenters in the village received orders every week. Elias received almost none. Month after month, he watched wagons of wood go to other workshops instead of his own. At first, he tried to change this. He lowered his prices. He knocked on doors, offering his work for almost nothing. He smiled at customers even when his pride ached. Still, when the evening came, his workshop stood as empty as before. Each night he looked at his half-finished chairs and asked, "Why must I work so hard while other men's shelves stay full?" One quiet evening, an old woodworker passed through the village and stopped at his door. "You still sharpen your tools every night?" the old man said, noticing the neat row of chisels. "I do," Elias answered. "For what work?" Elias looked down at his empty order book. "I do not know anymore." The old man studied him for a moment. "Then sharpen them until the work finds you." He left before sunrise the next day, and Elias never saw him again. But those quiet words stayed inside him. He stopped waiting for customers to arrive. Instead, he gave each day a clear purpose of its own. He practiced joints that no one had asked for. He studied wood grain until he understood it like a language. He built small pieces just to test new techniques, then quietly took them apart again. No one commissioned these things. Often, no one even saw them. Many people in the village whispered that Elias had lost his way. He builds things no one buys. He wastes good wood on practice. He will starve before he learns his lesson. Elias heard them, but he kept going. Every evening, after his practice was done, he cleaned his tools and laid them out for mourning. Seasons became years. His hands grew more certain. His eye for measurement grew sharper. Still, his order book stayed thin. Sometimes discouragement came back like a heavy rain. He wanted to stop. He wanted someone to notice, someone to tell him his effort mattered. On those nights, he looked at his tools resting in their neat row. They never asked for praise. They simply waited to be used well, even when no one was watching him use them. So Elias kept sharpening. One autumn, word reached the village that the region's governor needed a new hall built before winter, a hall grand enough to host visiting dignitaries from across the land. Every skilled builder for miles was summoned to compete for the commission. Carpenters who had been busy for years arrived confident, certain the work would be simple for hands, so experienced with routine orders. Elias arrived too, though few expected him to be chosen. The governor's steward set an unusual test. Each builder was given an unfamiliar joint design, one rarely used and easy to get wrong under pressure. The senior carpenters, used to repeating the same simple work for years, struggled with the strange angles. Their hands, though experienced, had grown used to only one kind of task. Elias, however, recognized the joint at once. It was nearly identical to one he had practiced alone, in silence, 2 winters before, on a piece of wood no one had ever asked him to build. His hands moved with a certainty the others lacked. Where they hesitated, he continued without pause. When the steward examined the finished pieces, only one had been built with both speed and precision. It was not the work of the man with the most customers. It was the work of the man who had prepared the longest. Elias was given the commission. As the villagers congratulated him, he felt joy. But another feeling was even stronger. He remembered every quiet evening he believed his practice was wasted. He had been wrong. Those unseen hours had been building him long before he understood why. The years without reward had not been empty. They had been preparing hands that would be ready the one time it mattered most. That night, he returned to his workshop. His tools still rested in their neat row. For the first time, he truly understood why he had kept sharpening them. It had never been about the orders he was missing. It had been about becoming the kind of craftsman who could meet an opportunity the moment it finally arrived. Years passed again. Elias trained apprentices of his own, and his workshop became known throughout the region. But he never told the story of quick success, because there wasn't one. He told them instead about the years of empty order books, the practice pieces taken apart in silence, the whispers he had chosen not to listen to. When young workers grew frustrated waiting for their first real chance, older craftsmen in the village would quietly say, "Keep sharpening your tools." Near the end of his life, a young apprentice asked him, "Were you never afraid your work would go unnoticed forever?" Elias looked at the row of tools he still kept polished, out of habit more than need. "I was afraid for many years," he said. "Then I learned something. Hard work does not always bring success right away. But it never fails to build the person who is ready when the moment comes. Chance favors those who prepared before it arrived, not after." The apprentice looked at the ordinary tools for a long time. He expected to find some secret method inside them. Instead, he saw only well-kept, unremarkable steel. Yet somehow, it felt different now. The hidden lesson inside this story is simple. Effort does not always pay you back on your own schedule. Some seasons of hard work will pass without applause, without reward, without anyone noticing at all. Do not believe those seasons have no value. The skill you build in silence becomes the readiness that meets you later, often when you least expect it and need it most. There will be days when your work feels unseen or unrewarded. Keep sharpening anyway. Keep practicing the craft no one is asking for yet. Like Elias at his workbench, you may not see the moment your effort becomes useful. But when that moment finally arrives, it will not ask if you feel ready. It will only ask if you are. If this story gave you something to think about, please subscribe and leave a comment. Tell me, what is the skill you are quietly sharpening right now, even though no one has asked you to? I would truly love to read your answer.